Now, amidst a long-drawn battle before the courts, the All Progressives Grand Alliance is still dealing with the very challenges that has minimized its electoral chances over time and restricted its political influence to just one state of the federation. Apparently, the two factions involved in the leadership tussle are still not willing to sheathe their swords, and just this week, one of the party's leaders took the saber-rattling to a whole new level when he accused those he described as impostors of plotting to destabilize the party following its latest judicial triumph ahead of local government elections in Anambra State. We're now being joined by Sly Ezeokenwa, the national chairman of All Progressives Grand Alliance. Many thanks for joining us here on Newsday.
Thank you very much, my dear sister Cynthia, and of course my brother Aaron. It's quite thrilling to join you this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. We are certainly delighted to have you. Now, you've mentioned impostors trying to destabilize APGA. Can you provide specific evidence of these attempts and explain why you believe they're occurring at this time?
Well, as I said yesterday, and I've said on various interviews that I've been on, APGA, as a political party, has, I should say, a lawful pattern of succession. It is very clear. And then for you, as a person, to emerge a national officer of a political party like APGA, the law is clear. You must go through a national convention. I was elected the national chairman of APGA at the convention of APGA, which was conducted on the 31st day of May 2023. Incidentally, Arise TV, you guys were there. It was duly monitored by INEC. And now, all of a sudden, you see some persons laying claim to the leadership of the party without providing evidence of how they purportedly emerged as national officers of the party. And then the next thing, you see them going about town, ranting on various TV stations about how Governor Charles Soludo is trying to destabilize the party, how Governor Charles Soludo is refusing to recognize them as the party leaders, how Governor Charles Soludo is doing this one or doing that one. And the question that should come to a reasonable mind is simple. What is actually the aim of these people? Yeah, because you see them consistently come on live TV to accuse the party leader, because the Governor Charles Soludo is the national leader of the party. And as national leader of the party, the Constitution accords him certain rights and privileges in regards to that position. And he's not someone you can come out and castigate anyhow. He's not the national chairman of the party, neither is he a national officer. The Constitution of the party accords him certain rights and privileges, which must be respected. And so when you see someone like Chief Chekwa Sokorie, who was expelled in the party in 2004, challenge his expulsion up to the Supreme Court, the cases are reported in the weekly report of the Nigerian Weekly Law Report. It's there, clear, that he's not a member of the party. Chief Edozie Njoku left the party in 2007, and up till date, he can't provide any evidence of when he re-registered as a member of the party. So what are we not talking about? And we know, because we have consistently come out to say that this is their usual stock in trade. They did this in 2013 before the governorship election. They did it in 2017. They did it in 2021. They are back again because they know, ordinarily, anytime from now, maybe by November or December, INEC will release timetable for the conduct of the Anambra State governorship election. And they are back, these marauders. So their only interest is simply to destabilize the leadership of the party. Just like you said, APGA is in control of the leadership of Anambra State. And it is a fact that given the trajectory of development that Anambra State has witnessed from 2006, that APGA had its first governor, Governor Peter Obi, up to when he handed over to Chief Willie Obiano, and now Professor Charles Soludo. So the problem is these people are not happy with what is happening in Anambra State. And they believe that the governor is someone that they can blackmail to part way with probably the treasury or funds belonging to the state. And the governor has said, no, I'm not someone you can blackmail. You can't come from nowhere, out of the blues, and start laying claim to the leadership of the party. It does not happen anywhere. And then you've been going about, visiting many people saying that, that the Court of Appeal, the FCT High Court, and the Court of Appeal has recognized you as a national chairman of the party. And we asked you a very simple question. Provide the judgment of the court which purportedly recognized you as a national chairman. You cannot do that. Show us evidence that there was ever a time APGA gave notice of its convention to be held in 2019. You failed to do that. Show us at least a video evidence that such a convention was held. It is on record that in 2019, APGA held a convention in Awka which returned Chief Victor Oye. Because when we try to dimension these issues, it is for Nigerians to know the truth. It is a fact that between 2015 and 2019, Chief Victor Oye was the national chairman of APGA. Nobody is challenging that. Nobody is disputing that. And it's also a fact, and pursuant to the law, that it's only a national chairman that has the powers to issue notice of congresses or convention to INEC. And so, if you admit, logically, that Victor Oye was the national chairman between 2015 and 2019, then it can only be logical that he alone had the powers to issue notice of a convention. So if he issued notice of convention to be conducted in Awka, how come about you're talking about an Owerri convention? So we are very emphatic about these people. We know they are stuck in trade. Chief Chekwas Okode have said it. He's a septuagenarian. And as much as possible, I try to accord him his due respect. It's on record that he was the founding national chairman of the party. Nobody is disputing that. Nobody can take away that from him. It is a fact that he will going to live with us for the rest of our lives. But the truth is that as a result of his attempt to sabotage the case of Governor Peter Obi, then at the tribunal, the National Executive Committee came together, indicted him, found him wanting, and expelled him. It is a fact that he cannot dispute. Yeah. And so you don't come out every day just tell us, you are the founding national chairman, you are this, you are that. So what? The fact is that as of today, he is not a member of the party. He left APGA, joined UPP, and the next thing we heard was that UPP was deregistered. He left UPP, I think he joined whether PDP or APC.
Okay, I'm looking at the question.
So how come?
All right, Mr. Ezeokenwa. First of all, some are saying that APGA in Anambra State are a party in crisis.
Yes.
Is that true? And they are saying that if care is not taken, that there might be an implosion ahead of the next elections. Well, that's the first arm of the question. My second arm is this. How does all this crisis impact on the local government elections coming up?
There is one fact I don't fail to draw out. When a party is factionalized, you will see it clearly. APGA is not factionalized. APGA is one. And just like you said, we do not have any division in the party in Anambra State. The state chairman of APGA in Anambra State is Chief Ifeatu Obi-Okoye. I didn't make him the state chairman. The members of the party did. He was elected alongside the other members of his state executive committee at state congresses conducted by the party. Because we have to bring out this fact. These congresses were duly monitored by INEC, and he has been enjoying his recognition as the state chairman. Until date, I dare say it, till date, no court in Nigeria has set aside those congresses. Yesterday, just like you alluded to the decision of the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, where I and APGA filed an application seeking leave of the Court of Appeal to appeal to the Supreme Court as interested parties. And if you bring, I have the ruling of the Court of Appeal which was delivered yesterday. And there were 2 points that were made by the justices of the Court of Appeal, which is very instructive. The first one is, you cannot talk about the leadership or national chairmanship of a political party in the absence of the political party. In the suit they filed at the FCT High Court, APGA was not a party. APGA was entirely excluded. I am using the exact words of the learned justices of the Court of Appeal, not my opinion, not my words. The second point they made is that myself has shown interest in the subject matter because the court had found that the subject matter at the trial court was the issue of the national chairmanship of the party. And that myself, as a validly, I'm using the court's words, I'm not superimposing anything, as a validly elected national chairman of the party, I have shown sufficient interest to be entitled to the grant of leave to appeal as an interested party. These are facts. And now, let me equally draw your attention to the fact, I always say it, APGA has been in power in Anambra State for the past 18 years. If you go to Anambra today, ask these impostors, let them convene a meeting or just a ward meeting. So you don't just have people talking about, oh, a phantom leadership issue or a phantom crisis. APGA is not factionalized. APGA is one. In Anambra State, the other day, the last function that I attended, which was where the governor flagged off the distribution of economic trees to thousands of Anambra people, you will see thousands of APGA people troop out en masse to show support to our national leader, who has been adjudged till date as one of the best performing governors in the country.
All right.
So when we talk about the unity of the party, when we talk about APGA stronghold in Anambra State, we don't talk about an illusory crisis being created in the figment of some person's imagination.
Okay.
Those people, as far as we are concerned, they do not exist. So APGA is one. And like I told you, every effort of these impostors to derail the progress that APGA has been making, in 2013, they set up this posture. They failed.
No,
they failed in 2017.
Ezeokenwa.
They failed in 2021, and they are going to fail again.
All right.
Yes, I'm listening.
Thank you for sharing the document that you just did a moment ago. But I'd like to follow up on that by asking you what the implications might be when it comes to being granted leave of court to proceed to the Supreme Court.
Now, the implication is very simple. If you read the judgment of the FCT High Court and the judgment of the Court of Appeal, one thing is very clear. The court took a posture or a position that, based on the corrected judgment of the Supreme Court, that our former national chairman, because we must make this point, the case filed at the FCT High Court had no business with me, had no business with APGA. So the position of the FCT High Court was that by the corrected judgment of the Supreme Court, that Oye had no business to act as national chairman. That was the position of the court, which was affirmed by the Court of Appeal. Now, like I've said on various interviews, one thing is very clear. We were not aware that before they obtained the judgment that they got from the FCT High Court, that they had applied to the Supreme Court. They wrote a letter to the CJN through their counsel, asking that because the Supreme Court, in its corrected judgment, which was delivered on the 24th day of March 2023, that the Supreme Court had recognized this same person as a national chairman of APGA. And as such, he is the person entitled to carry on the functions of the office of the national chairman of the party. And the Supreme Court still told them no. There was never a point in time that would declare this personality as the national chairman of the party. And as such, your argument or your contention that the INEC chairman was guilty of contempt has no place, because it is a known fact in law that you cannot place something on nothing and expect it to stand. That was the position of the Supreme Court. And that was what informed their strenuous challenge, because when we filed our application for leave to appeal, if they know that the Supreme Court actually pronounced Edozie Njoku as the national chairman, then they would not have contested that particular application. They would have been willing to get to the Supreme Court so that we will hear the clarification from the Supreme Court. But because they know that not only did the Supreme Court make the pronouncement they are alleging the Supreme Court did, they know that if they get back to the Supreme Court, that they are going to leave the Supreme Court with heavy fine. Because the Supreme Court, as far back as the 14th of October 2021, had laid the issue of the leadership tussle in APGA to rest when the Supreme Court affirmed the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which had pronounced Victor Oye as the national chairman of the party. So they know the gimmicks they are playing.
Yeah.
Today,
because of time, I asked the question.
Yes,
I want
my
to
brother, I can hear
again. How does this impact on the forthcoming local government elections? That's my big question to you.
No, I told you clearly that APGA is won in Anambra State. We do not have any issue. We are going to participate in the election as the valid executives of the party. Now, a long time ago, when the Supreme Court delivered its judgment, or even before then, on the issue of local government autonomy, and it became very clear that most states in the country were going to conduct local government election, we had authorized all the state chapters of the party to undertake the nomination exercises of the party on behalf of the party and send their appropriate nominations to the electoral commissions of each state. And I can tell you that that has been done in Anambra State. APGA is fully ready to participate at that election, which will be conducted on the 28th of September, and I can assure you that APGA is going to sweep the polls. So, like I always say, when we try to create, or people, what they want to do is to create an imaginary crisis that do not exist. These people have no bearing. They don't have anywhere. They do not exist. And we always make this point. And that's why, from day one, I've continued to tell INEC to do the right thing. INEC has come now to recognize the fact that they have erred. But you don't need to continue to fester in an error you have, or an obvious error you have committed, especially in the light of the document that have come out from the apex court in the land. I heard that he was saying that he was a registrar of the Supreme Court, and I laugh. I came here on Arise TV, and that particular letter was beamed live on TV, where in starting the letter, he said, I have been directed by the Honorable, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Arekayode Ariwola, GCON. Clearly, it was the same former CJN that they wrote before they brought the application to the Supreme Court. And it is the same former CJN that they are now castigating because the Supreme Court has come out to clarify its position. And that has always been their stock in trade. So once they can't get the court to play to their gimmicks, they begin to castigate the court.
Mr. Sly Ezeokenwa, APGA National Chairman, we wish you well ahead of the September 28th polls, and we'd like to thank you for joining us here on Newsday. Thank you so much.